Welcome, wrestling fans, to Vineland High School's Irv Gosman's Gymnasium for Vineland High School, coming in at 4-6 versus Haddon Township High School at 4-2. Well, we're going to be on the blind on this one tonight. We have some lineup cards, but not much background on what's going on. We'll figure it out as we go on, but right now we're going to quiet down for the playing of our national anthem. Well, we made it through with both a Pledge of Allegiance and a national anthem. Right now, announcer Henry Weintraub will be giving us our potential starting lineups for tonight.
All right, here's our lineup for this evening's match.
Tonight we'll be starting at 113, the second weight class, so almost like starting at the bottom going all the way up. This is Rich Scarpa along with Giancarlo Scarpa alongside of me.
At 113 pounds for Haddon Township, Aaron Martin, and currently there is a possible forfeit for Vineland. At 120 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, Dom Seco, and for Vineland, Ben Robinson. At 126 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, Antonio Spaccaratelli, and for Vineland, Alex LeBlanc. At 132 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, we have Tyler Fullerton, and for Vineland, Michael Drucker. 138 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, Jesse Lange, and for Vineland, Camden Watts. 145 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, we have Chad Ball, and for Vineland, Carlos Rodriguez. Wrestling at 152 pounds for Haddon Township, J.R. Lange. And for Vineland, Anthony Cosme. At 160 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, Sean Hope. And for Vineland, Nate Snell. And Cosme. At 170 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, either Aiden Cronin or Eric Kelly. And for Vineland, Angel Garcia. At 182 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, either Eric Kelly or Aiden Cronin. And for Vineland, Jazia Brooks. At 195 pounds, wrestling for Haddon Township, Robert Shreve. And for Vineland, Justice Jordan Dickerson. Wrestling at 220 pounds, for Haddon Township, Robert Shreve. And for Vineland, Shane Ecker. And at 285 pounds, for Haddon Township, Colin McGrath. And for Vineland, Brandon Walden. Will the head coaches and captains please come out to the center circle now? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start this evening's match at 113 pounds.
Well, as the coaches get ready at 113, Vineland has weighed no one in. They go from Gabe Baldessero at 106 up to 120 with Ben Robinson, who's out there as a captain for this match. So there's a chance Gabe Baldessero, the freshman, who's having a nice start to his high school career, may be bumping up to 113, away from Ismael Santiago to go to Aaron Martin. So we'll find out right away as we start at 113.
Vineland has won the toss. They have selected even bout. Ladies and gentlemen, let's wrestle! Our first match at 113 pounds. Coming out for Haddon Township.
So it looks like Baldessero will be the last match of the night, wrestling at his 106 weight class, and Vineland will forfeit the first one. Make it 6-0 Haddon Township.
Our next match at 120 pounds. Coming out for Haddon Township, Garcia. And coming out for Vineland, Ben Robinson.
So senior Ben Robinson, a longtime Vineland mini wrestler, will start this off on the mat for Vineland, taking on Dom Seco. And takedown on the end gets Seco up on top 2-0 with Robinson bottom. Seco looks like a leg rider, like he's going to try to boot in and try to control Robinson. He really needs to scramble to get to his feet, and he does. Nice return by Chico. Robinson needs his head up as he starts to work his head up. Try to keep those legs from coming in.
Get it inside it. Lift. Lift over your head.
That's where the old wrestling coach in me wants to start screaming, get under that foot. As it carelessly thrown in. Robinson's first attempt was a switch, except his arm was up a little high. If he keeps it down, he may be able to pull off the switch. And Coach Farnham decides to give Vineland the one and go back to their feet with 1:12 to go. It's 2-1, Haddon Township's Chico. Robinson goes in for a shot, and he's just knocked down to his back. Chico catches him off balance, and this is a real tight position to be in with just under a minute to go. It's going to take a lot from Robinson to fight this off. One thing going good for Robinson here is Chico's arm is kind of keeping that far shoulder up. Now he adjusts and tries to boot in. And Robinson fights it off and gets back to his base. 30 seconds to go. He's going to have to try to scramble to get on the board here. Right now, 7-1, Chico. You can tell Chico's very experienced on top with his leg rides. As he torques the head, he's going to pick up some more back points, make it 2 of them. That's going to make us 9-1 after the first period. Usually a good leg rider would be decent on the bottom. Look for him to try to switch or just clear his hips and look for the reversal to get back on top. Robinson with a good jam and a breakdown. And there's your switch, and it goes for an escape. So we're at 9-1. Robinson tries to throw it over, but Chico's able to stop him. He's going to get the takedown now, locks up the cradle. He's got the back points. He has the tech fall in hand, looking for the fall here. And that'll do it, Chico with the fall.
The winner at 120 pounds with a pin for Haddon Township, Don.
At 241, it's Chico with the fall to get Haddon Township up on the board first.
Match at 126 pounds. Coming out for Haddon Township, we have Antonio Drucker. And coming out for Vineland, Alex LeBoff.
So freshman Alex LeBoff out on the varsity mat at a young age. He's going to be taking on Spacatelli. That's a whole handful of letters. Alex overextends a little bit on a trip and gets stuck in a headlock. This is pretty tight, and it's not that easy to get out of as the headlock by Spacatelli.
Antonio Spacatelli. Our next match at 132 pounds. Coming out for Haddon Township, Tyler Fullerton. And coming out for Vineland, Michael Drucker.
So one of Vineland's more experienced wrestlers here, Michael Drucker, takes the mat. And he's got Tyler Fullerton, who has a bloody nose before this one starts and is clogged up already. Watched most of Vineland's matches last year, and Drucker's one that'll try to slow it down, wrestle off his knees a little bit, and just stay tight, and then explosive at the end of the period, which got him some big wins last year. As this season's early on, Drucker trying to find his way. Exactly what I'm talking about there is Fullerton has great motion on his feet. Drucker just blocks him off, gets in on a single. He's pretty deep, but a nice little knockdown attempt. by Fullerton. Drucker should clear this off the mat as he's not in a great position. Doesn't want to give anything up on the edge. And sure enough, they're out. Just over a minute to go in this first period. Fullerton from Haddon Township, very long, looking at picks and looking just to extend into a shot on Drucker. Drucker's forced out of the circle, and he has to watch that. He has to circle in on that edge before he gets banged with a stall call. We're down to 25 seconds to go in the scoreless first period. Fullerton snaps Drucker down. Drucker with a drag, but they go out of bounds. Three, two, one, and we're knotted up at 0-0 going into the second. It's Drucker's choice. He chooses neutral. Probably not a bad choice, as a little bit we've seen from Haddon Township is they're pretty tough on top. And with the length of Fullerton, you got to worry about cradles, yet alone legs. Coach Farnham, very good wrestler in high school, wrestling at West Deptford, actually coaching there for a little while. Or excuse me, at Township. Always coaching at West Deptford and buddied up with Pete DiBiase, had me a little confused. Drucker again backs out of the circle. He's got to present much better and start to circle in. I believe if Fullerton can get a shot off here or make another attempt, Drucker's about to get hit for a stall. And there's the stall call on Drucker. So after he gets hit with it, he tries to headlock, but they're out of bounds harmlessly. 0-0, 1:15 to go in the second period. You know, a lot of that stall call comes not so much that Fullerton's doing that much more, but just the presentation on the mat and how when you go out of bounds, how you exit it. Now Fullerton in deep, and we're still neutral as Drucker grabs a leg. And this is going to be a tough call. And out of bounds, still neutral. Way to fight that off for Michael Drucker. Just under a minute to go in the second, so we're halfway through, still knotted up at zeros. Early on, it looked like Drucker, with a nice arm drag to a single, loses a single, but he's in good position to step in front and get a hip toss off, but they go out of bounds. Just mentioning Drucker looked a little more weathered early on, but very quickly, Fullerton's starting to start mouth breathing and look the same as 25 seconds to go in this scoreless second period. Just like to see Drucker get his head off his forehead and get an angle. Now he's in a front headlock position, but loses his hips, and he's going to give up 2 on the takedown. Hopefully he can free his arm before he gives up more, and there's a count for back points with 5 seconds left. 2 back points are earned. And that'll be at 2-2. It's going to make it 4-0, entering the third as it's Fullerton's choice. Fullerton takes the bottom. Fullerton swings his hips. He's working hands, trying to stay on the mat, but they're out of bounds. Fullerton sits and quickly Drucker gets the leg, and he needs to attack the head, and he is. But he's got to get that forearm back on the base of the neck as he's getting a little bit high. Fullerton now looking for the head and the reversal, and he has it. Nice attempt by Drucker, but just too high on the head with his power half, and that allowed the hips to get up from Fullerton, allowing him to reverse to go up 6-0 now. This is the first we've seen Fullerton on top. He was on top briefly after the takedown, but that went right into back points. And he looks pretty tough on top as he's splitting the hips, and looks like we have a little bit of blood. We have a little blood time. So Fullerton knew his nose was going to bleed, had it plugged up early, but the other side starts to leak a little bit.
As we have a break in the action, again a reminder that our concession stand is open, located in the lobby. So if you want to get something to eat or drink, they are ready to serve your needs. Thank you.
So 6-0, 1:14 left in this one. Blood's cleaned up. Fullerton ready to go again. 12-0 in the match score for Haddon Township. Little wrestling match tonight, see?
Not as much fun as last time.
Oh, I can't wait till I can speak next time. School board, city council, former this, former that. Now on the rec board, Gene Medio stopping by to say hi. Official Jason Brown gets the last of the plasma on the floor off the mat. And we should be ready to go. Drucker's got a lot of work to do with just 1:14 to go, and he is on the bottom. With the 4-point near fall now. You don't need that escape before a takedown in 3. You get that 4-point near fall. So Drucker should move his hips free and try to look for Peterson, something big, but got to figure Fullerton to know to let him go if he gets in trouble. Fullerton would have rolled through tilt. Drucker posts the elbow. It's not going to score on the first attempt, but good switch by Drucker. He's going to score that. That makes it 6-2. A little bit of a sloppy attempt at a return, but he gets it done. He has the 2-on-1. He's going to need a turn and a long hold on this. Drucker bulldogs the back leg, but he's got to get heavy on that head. Start to break some hips. We're at 30 seconds to go. It's 6-2 Fullerton. Drucker trying to roll the 2-on-1. They're near the edge. He's going to have to load it up hard, but he loses that. Has the half in and out of bounds with just 8 seconds to go. Drucker showing the optional freestyle start. Look for him to drop down into a cradle off of this with just 7 seconds to go. He tries. He's got it almost locked up, but Fullerton pops his head. And that should do it. We're at 3-2-1. An escape for Fullerton at the end is going to make it 7-2.
The winner at 132 pounds with a decision for Haddon Township, Tyler Fulton. Our next match is 138 pounds. Coming out for Haddon Township, Jesse Lange. That's James Barrett.
So we're at 21-0 now.
And coming out for Vineland, Camden Watts.
Haddon Township. Camden Watts, the junior, comes out for Vineland. Versus Jesse Lange. This is exactly where you want Camden Watts. He has a really good front headlock, very powerful in there. He wears on people in there, and he's strong enough to do that as he almost picks up the backs. He's got the takedown, and he's got a 1 count on the backs. The 2 is in the air. Watts drops his hips, just needs to get his chest on top. He's picking up the backs. He has it stacked up. This is really close to a fall. And Watts that quickly in 31 seconds with the fall for Vineland. I've watched Camden a lot last year, and he is just physically dominant in that front headlock position and really needs to be in there a lot more, as his strength and aggression in there really overwhelms people.
We have a forfeit for Vineland, winner at 145 pounds by forfeit, Chad Ball for Haddon Township.
So Chad Ball gets a forfeit, expecting Carlos Rodriguez there.
Coming out for Vineland, Anthony Cosme.
So Carlos Rodriguez, a healthy scratch for Vineland as Anthony Cosme comes out for the next one. Anthony Cosme.
Coming out for Haddon Township, Chad Ball.
So Schaefer taking a forfeit earlier. Ball now. Ball in on a nice shot, circles behind, sweeps the far ankle. He's got his 2. Cosme very quickly back up to his feet. And this is a position you don't want to be in if you're less experienced than somebody. The last thing you want to be is on the mat. You're safer on your feet. And there's another roll through tilt, the second one we've seen tonight. Cosme gets out of it, but gives up the 2 back points, which are finally awarded as he gets back to his base. Looks like Chad Ball is going to try to load that up again as he's heavy on the near elbow. Now trying to stack, and Cosme does a nice job extending his torso, getting out of that, rips hands apart. Now just the head pressure coming up. And he's out for his 1, 4-1 with a minute to go here in the first period. Real nice deep shot by Ball. Ball captures the hip. He's got 2 there. And a real quick set of back points there for Ball. Certainly didn't look like he had the 2 seconds, but he's in good position for another tilt as he attempts to boot in. Cosme needs to look to turn in off this as that leg isn't in. He can slide his hip out. And he does as he starts to turn in. Just a little better position and experience for Ball, but Cosme does the right thing there, getting off his back, and that's going to be 3 backs. Going to make it 11-1 here with just 5 seconds to go. And just enough to get the 2 back points, going to make it 13-1 after the first. Nice fight by Cosme. That's what happens a lot in wrestling with different levels of experience. You move one way or the wrong way and you give things up. But a lot of fight by Cosme. 13-1 as we start the second. So locked hands, that's going to be a real short, quick move for ball. Gets the locked hands to make it 14-1, and the reversal is going to make it a tech fall here with 1:47 to go in the second period.
The winner, 152 pounds, with a technical fall for Haddon Township, Chad Ball.
Nice effort by the first-year senior Anthony Cosme. He gets tech falled fairly quick, but the effort was there. Lots you can grow on. Now here comes Nate Snell.
And coming out for Vineland, Nate Snell.
So Snell at 60 for Vineland, one of Vineland's more experienced wrestlers. He's had some tough matchups lately, looking to get back on track. Snell pretty proficient on his feet. And at times will control a head or a wrist, drop to his knee, try to out leverage with his length. So Snell fends off that shot. He's got decent position, looks to refire off of that. The exit to that scramble was a little slow by Haddon Township. And Snell will see that and re-attack off a shot. So J.R. Lange and Snell go 0-0 with 1 minute left to go in the first. Snell with the closest attempt to a takedown on this near side. Lange gets in deep. Snell fights it off nicely. Two evenly matched guys so far. And Snell posting his head, forehead to forehead. And he'll get the stall call for that. You know, when you're head battling in there, you want to get a head to a temple, a head to an ear, where you can start to get an angle on things. But just going head to head and blocking off, Snell's really been more the aggressive wrestler this period, but he gets the stall call for blocking out with his head. "20 seconds to go in the first. Nice shot. Lange has a great shot. Snell's got a lot of work to do to fight this off. Short time, 13 seconds. Snell needs to keep the far leg away, and they're out of bounds. Great scramble by Snell. Nine seconds to go in this scoreless first period at 160. It's Haddon Township 32, Vineland 6. Snell wants to go neutral. Coach Homiak, Jake Homiak, Vineland's head coach, wants him down, and sure enough, he will be down. Probably the right call in the 0-0 match. Snell needs to hustle to get out and just keep moving. You got to put a couple together. Right now, Lange just riding the hips, waiting for an opening from Snell. Snell's legs are free, needs to circle to the front. And Snell sits and gets his escape. Good call by Coach Homiak, getting Snell up on the board first, 1-0 here. First minute of the match was Snell's offense, got closer, but it was Lange. The last two attempts got close to scoring. Nice level change by Lange, but he's not going to be able to score it as Snell blocks it off. But Snell has that stall warning. He's going to need a little offense here before he gets banged again. 52 seconds to go in the second. It's 1-0 Snell. And there's a deep shot, and that gets the point already for Lange, tying it up at 1. But if Lange would have attempted to finish that, he was in great position, but he was taking a look, and the look was there, but he didn't finish it. $20 seconds to go in the second, knotted up at 1. Snell right now needs to get motion. He's following and he's blocking off nice, but with his motion, he can get a shot going. But he's following Lange right now. And Lange may get another stall call if he gets another shot off here. At ones, Lange will take the bottom. 2 minutes to go. Lange quickly to his feet. Snell down to the ankle. Gets a nice breakdown. Scramble takes him out of bounds. 1:52 to go. Knotted at 1. Snell's that back leg bulldog, needs to look to try to pull the head in instead of away. And out of bounds, 1:25 to go. And with the 2 stall calls on Snell, I don't think he's going to be able to ride him out without getting another stall call on himself. May want to look to cut and go feet here. Any kind of jeopardy. Snell gets hit in the nose. He's got a little blood coming out, so they're going to take a break for that. We have 1:17 to go, knotted up at ones. Snell on top, but it's been a lot of work by J.R. Lange on the bottom. That's nearly gotten him out a couple times, but it's not going to take much more for Snell to get hit with a stall, even though he's not, just trying to follow that motion and not able to match it right now. So blood time over. Coach Homiak talking to Snell, trying to come up with a game plan. With 1:17, they may want to cut and look for a takedown, but it's a little early for that because it's a bear to hold J.R. Lange down. And if you cut and get a takedown, you still got to hold him down without getting a stall call. There's 2 things against you. So you may want to try to ride till about 30 seconds and then cut him at that point in time, where if you get the takedown, you're going to be able to hold him the rest of the period. Snell's going optional start, and he looks for a cradle, but getting the 1, which isn't so horrible, is Lange to go up 2-1. So Snell, aside from trying to gain leverage and an angle, really needs to get motion going out there. He needs to make J.R. Lange move a little bit and react to him instead of the other way around. And Nate seems to be doing it a little more with a little level change, and right now he looks more active than Lange, which is important with that stall warning. 45 seconds to go. Snell may be trying to get a right hand outside single. Looks like it's there if he just scoots left and then comes back around. That left leg's leaning out front for him. He's got to see it, and he's got to get to the outside of his opponent's left leg with his right arm. Lowers his level, takes a look. He needs to do it a couple more times here as we're down to 15 seconds. It's 2-1. Snell in the hole. J.R. Lange trying to hold on. Snell now with good motion. But J.R. Lange presents and blocks it off. We're at 5, 4, 3, 2, and that's going to do it. Good effort by both wrestlers. And the end of that last 30 seconds where we see Snell with motion and movement really cause some problems for Lange, but that needs to happen a little bit earlier so he can have some openings offensively. You know, and the stall call for head blocking early, and the next one that he got, like, the one could have been avoided, and that extra point ended up being all the difference in the match. James Calley now with Angel Garcia, the sophomore, as we're at 170. Calley big and strong, but pretty stable. Angel Garcia appears to be the more fluid on his feet with motion. So you want to try to avoid the strength of Calley. Tacking to the outside a little bit more, using leverage, up and down motion. You want to try to get him out of that box. Double, but the head in the inside, that's going to allow Calley to crossface, and he's in good position to score this. So we'll probably see wrist and half, power half on top here. He's got the wrist. Garcia needs to free that hand. And know where you're at.
Stay there, stay there.
Garcia drops his hips and gets the escape 2-1. Garcia's offense in that shot was nice, but when you have a big, thick, strong guy in front of you, you want to try to attack on the angles, get your head to the outside, maybe attack from an angle where you're not penetrating right through the middle. Because Vineland's advantage here is agility, speed. The strength advantage certainly goes with Cale here, so you don't want to shoot square up on him. You want to make him move. Nice high crotch by Cale as he steps in. Garcia does a nice job stepping down. Now reattacks to a single, and that'll do it for the first period. 2-1 Cale lead. So Vineland defers. Cale's going to take the bottom. Garcia jams the first movement. Real strong brace by Cale. Garcia's going to cut him loose, going to make it 3-1. And you certainly don't want to just keep standing in front of Cale, as he showed he had a nice high crotch and a deep penetration. Garcia comes in for a double, heads to the outside, that's cross-faced off. He could start with that double and go outside single, would help him a lot so he doesn't have to try to finish through the man. Garcia needs to get the next attempt off here so he can start to work for a stall point, which could come in handy. And sure enough, the fake shot gets the stall. Warning. Next one's a point. Cayley probably has a double or a high crotch left in him for this period. Garcia overextends on the double attempt. He needs to circle and face. Short time here, 10 seconds, and Cayley gets the 2. Garcia needs to scramble here with 6 and 5, but Cayley's got him covered up. We're going to head into the third at 5-1 Cayley. Garcia's choice for this, he'll probably go to the bottom position. Try to get that point back, but they're going to go neutral. And that little leg tap by Cayley there will allow him some time before he gets banged for a stall. Boy, just perfect timing by Cayley as Garcia takes a breath and keeps his hands up, and right at the time Cayley takes the shot. So we're at 7-1 here. Cayley starts to boot the leg in here. Cayley didn't look that strong on top in the first period when he got it. Looks like Garcia's almost out. Got to free that elbow. This is trouble here if he can lock that up. And he does. And Cayley trying to get the backs, bringing him over that shoulder. Kind of loading it on the wrong side. He's going to try to roll through and scores it. Nice job by Cayley. So he stacks Garcia up. He's going to pick up 2 more back points, make it 9-1. It's a match Garcia was in. Just slowly slipped away. So we're at 30 seconds to go in the third, 9-1. Another cradle locked up. Garcia sprawls it out, but he's going to be in trouble here as it's rocked back. Real nice low leg finish on that, but Garcia's strong enough to break that grip, so it's going to be 11-1 as we're down to 10 seconds to go in the third. Garcia gets the 1 to make it 11-2, and that's going to do it for this one.
The winner at 170 pounds with a major decision for Haddon Township, Eric Kelly. Our next match at 182 pounds.
Excuse me, that was Eric Kelly the whole time.
Township, we have Aiden Cronin. And coming out for Vineland, Garcia Brooks.
So it's senior, first-year wrestler Jazir Brooks out for Vineland against Aiden Cronin. Cronin weighing in at 170, moving up to 182 for Haddon Township. Nice shot by Cronin. He's in deep. Brooks, though, real strong in his defense. He's going to try to do a belly-in cradle as he may get some points here. Nice job by Brooks getting the takedown. Brooks stays under both arms, has the back leg bulldog. He's going to have to try to work that elbow away, and he does as he tries to get his half in. But to his feet, is Cronin. Cronin rips the fingers. Looks like he's almost has the escape out of bounds, but he doesn't. So Cronin back down on the bottom. 2-0 Vineland here at 182 with 30 seconds to go in the first period. And a real nice start for Jazier Brooks. That's a strength and pressure by Brooks on top as he bulldogs the leg. Really makes Cronin have to stay in a base, otherwise he'll get extended. And we're down to 5 seconds. Brooks just needs to hold on here. 3, 2, and 1, and that's going to do it for the first period. 2-0 Jazier Brooks. Brooks is going to choose neutral to start this one off. Brooks with a nice takedown there. Nice level changes as Brooks is pushing in. I should say Cronin. Cronin just ducks and goes to an outside single. That's going to knot it up at 2s. As they go out of bounds, this is the spot that inexperience suffers from, is when you're on the bottom. Your first move, you need to clear your hips, you need to get to your feet, you need to fight like it's the end of the world to get up, because once you rest for a second, an experienced guy on top will start to gain an advantage that you're not going to be able to power your way through. So important for Brooks here to just pop up to his feet. So crossface to the low elbow. He could score this here, but a little bit high. Brooks fighting it well. It's getting close, though. Grabs the leg. Cronin just needs to step over the back when he has, and instead he's going to reload and circle, and he's got back points on Brooks. That's a matter of not knowing what's going on right there, as the experience from Haddon Township, Cronin, shows. And right now Brooks in a world of trouble. Cronin has his arms penned up, and that's going to do it with 48 seconds to go in the second period. A real nice effort by Jazier Brooks. Had the lead going into the second, but just on the bottom after that real nice takedown by Cronin. Cronin able to capture the far elbow and just circle it through the fall, but a good effort by Brooks.
Our next match, 195 pounds.
That's going to make it 45-6. As we go to 195, we're going to have for Vineland Justice Jordan Dickerson, one of 2 freshmen in the lineup with a little bit of experience. Gabe Baldessaro will be the last match. Longtime Vineland mini wrestler and very experienced. Justice Jordan Dickerson has actually 2 years on the mat. He was one of my students as I work out at Bridgeton. And if you don't recognize the voice, it's Rich Scarpa, voice of Vineland football. I forgot to introduce myself earlier. But Justice, a strong freshman, gets in on the outside single, needs to try to get to that half. He's on the wrong side of the head, but he's going to get some points. Aggressive and strong. Justice Jordan Dickerson turns the half around and needs to take his time here with 1:40 to go. As Eric Kelly looks like he's going to fight off it. Dickerson loads in a deep half now. Just needs to reload his shoulder. Justice Jordan Dickerson gets the 3-point near fall. It's going to be 5-0. And that's the difference between somebody with no experience and a year or 2 experience down in the minis for Vineland. We're aggressive from the start, uses the tools that he has as they're out of bounds. Need to fix the score as Coach Elliott, the Shields over there, needs to tack a couple more on, and he does. We're at 5-0 here at 195. JJD gets a little bit high, but he looks to be recovering. He may change this into a crossface cradle as he captures the elbow. But Kelly still has the leg. Kelly tries to stand with it. Looks like he may, but right now he's in trouble. Justice Stewart and Dickerson takes him right to his back. So no takedown as he was still on top, but Kelly in a world of trouble. And that should do it right there. With 15 seconds to go in the first, Justice Stewart and Dickerson. So real nice job by the freshman, showing some aggression and some strength and really attacking the things he knows. So up to 220. We are at 45-12.
Coming out for Vineland. Coming out for Vineland, we have Shane Eckert.
Shane Eckert, a senior.
Township.
Looks like he's going to receive the forfeit. He's had a nice start for Vineland in his first year wrestling, coming off the football field as a starting guard for 2 years on that Vineland High team that won their first playoff game in school history last year, led by that offensive line. That's going to bring us to heavies with just 1:03 to go after that. As Colin McGrath, weighing in at 280, takes the mat, and he'll be against Brandon Roldan, weighing in at 258. Roldan, another lineman on that Vineland football team. Roldan overextends but gets out from underneath, and in these heavyweight battles, you definitely don't want to get stuck in the middle underneath, as it's almost impossible to get back up, so you always want to be at an angle. Roldan pushing the head away, looking for that angle. Roldan with the collar tie on that left hand, trying to keep McGrath away. Now tries to snap him down. Roldan in on a shot. He needs to move his hips. He's in deep. McGrath has lost a shoe. And McGrath's going to circle around and get on top. It's one of the things at heavyweight, you make a nice shot, you do a nice move, but if you overextend, it gives points away, and that's something that new wrestlers have a hard time understanding. Sometimes it's almost putting pressure on, backing the guy up, and making him in desperation take that shot. So 45-18 with 2 matches to go. 44 seconds left in this first period. 2-0 McGrath. We have Ishmael Santiago comes in with a 7-1 record in the next match at 103 for Haddon Township versus freshman Gabe Baldacero. Excuse me, 106. Looking at Gabe's weight, his actual weight 103. But it is 106, which is up to 108, and not only will Santiago have some experience, but he's also a good 4 pounds heavier, which doesn't seem like a lot unless you only weigh 100 pounds. It's 4% of your weight. Nice sit right away by Roldan. Needs to keep it moving to get out. McGrath now covers him up tight, and he's going to try to work power half on Roldan. And Roldan may get called for a stall by just holding that arm, and he lets go of it just in time. So we're at 15 seconds to go in this first. McGrath just really smothering with his weight up high on the back, attacking the head, attacking the neck. Doing enough he's not going to get called, but there's no way for Roldan to get up. So Haddon Township defers. McGrath says, I'll pick next period. Roldan says, let's go to our feet. As he tries to pull the head down, he's got a real good attempt on it. He needs to circle behind. He's really close to it. Now reestablish that front headlock. As he scoots the head away, you got to keep those hips and that pressure on. A little bit of a knockdown. Spin behind Brandon. Roldan gets the takedown. Now needs to get McGrath flattened out. That's easier said than done as McGrath hits a nice stand-up. Roldan brings him down. Gets away with a little locked hands on the bottom, on the top there. So we're knotted up at 2s. I'll tell you, McGrath does a good job getting his hips off the mat and starting his weight forward. Roldan goes for a cradle, misses it, but he's in decent position to get back behind her, just crank that leg. But McGrath starts to suck it in tight now. Good job by Roldan with the re-sprawl. McGrath could get one here. Down to the ankle goes Roldan. If he circles to his right, he's going to get back. But he may get called with a stall call here, but he pops his head just in time, 30 seconds to go. Knotted up at 2. Now attack that head, Brandon, and he does. As he digs underneath, looking for that power half. Tell you what, Roldan for his short time of service really knows how to ride up on top as he's making McGrath bear all his weight. Now his hips are off him. It's a little bit of trouble. He needs to recover with 8 seconds and get him back to the mat. But he gets hit with a locked hands call as McGrath puts his hands to the mat. So it's going to be 3-2 going into the third. So McGrath's going to take the bottom, holding that 1-point lead. It's all important about stopping that first move by McGrath. He's tough on the bottom as he's gotten his hips out 3 times last period. But if you can flatten him out, see what Roldan tries to do. He goes spiral ride, holds him in place to get that right knee in the thigh to extend him out. Roldan comes back to a single. He's going to get flattened out and reversed. It's going to make it 5-2. Roldan really needs to hustle down here now. You have 280-pound heavyweight with all his weight on his forearm on your head and his hips covering yours. There's no way to bring your hips up. There's just a lot of torque on Roldan as McGrath slowly starts to turn it. This could be trouble. McGrath digs to half, pushes over, Roldan down and done with 1:07 to go. Good effort by Roldan, but McGrath just too experienced on top. And this will do it, the last match for tonight. It's freshman Gabe Baldacero versus Ismael Santiago. Had the opportunity in mini wrestling to coach Gabe a little bit, and Gabe likes to hand fight, drops to his knees, hang underneath, and look to dump. But there's a lot of length on Santiago, which could cause trouble for him here. Nice throw by Santiago, but they're out of bounds.
Yo, stay in position. Let's go.
The length, the arms and the legs and the body of Santiago are going to cause a nightmare for the more compact Baldacero.
Come on, use that.
Nice high crotch by Santiago. Baldacero whizzes in tight and fights it off, but finally Santiago able to finish it and score it.
Gotta move. Gotta move. Parallel. Come on, Gabe. Work out it. No. Carry the hand. Carry the hand.
So potentially dangerous as he tries to bar Baldacero's arm up. And Santiago will give the escape to Baldacero. We're at 2-1 with 1 minute to go in the first. Nice shot by Santiago. Izzy Santiago scores again. He's up 4-1, cranking the power half as he's got the back leg bulldog.
Yo, sit.
So the full Nelson gives Baldacero a point. The escape gives him another. We're at 4-3 here.
Stay low.
As Baldacero gets underneath now, he needs to keep walking his knees forward.
Hit it, dump him.
Baldacero spins out of that, but commits to the far leg.
Ankle, ankle.
And right on the edge, Santiago picks up a takedown. With 15 seconds to go, it's 6-3 Santiago. He's going to try to ride him out the rest of this period. Baldacero needs to hustle and get the point. Baldacero gets into a sit.
Do it. Hit it. Hit it. Again.
Good effort by Baldacero on the bottom. When he gets to that sit and he tries to go, he's got to go super hard because of the length of Santiago, as Santiago jumps on top for the second time.
Go, be smart here. Let's go.
Official Jason Brown calls it this time, so that's a warning on the start. Baldacero circles, needs to get to his feet. Great escape by Baldacero, because that one wasn't given to him. He earned it. We're at 6-4. Santiago in on a shot. Baldacero with a back hook, and the arm just slips off.
All right, get back to your base.
It's going to make it 8-4.
That's it. That's it. Keep going. Keep going. Come on.
So second full Nelson. It's going to make it 8-5.
Go. Keep hustling. Let's go. Back pressure.
Baldacero sits and spins out. Now the arm trapped. He's got to get it back.
Your head up. Let's go.
Santiago trying to pull the far elbow over to get him to his back. Baldacero in decent position, needs to circle right.
Sit down.
Baldacero almost close to a dump here. Santiago sprawls out and makes it a little long and a little tight.
Keep it. Keep that. Keep the elbow.
45 seconds. This has been a good 30-second spurt by Baldacero. Pops his head, almost gets the escape, comes back. Got to keep his elbows tight here. And Santiago whips him down, but a real nice job on the bottom by Baldessaro. But that momentary rest there now as Santiago locked up a cradle. 10 seconds to go. It's 10-6. Baldessaro needs to fight this just a little longer as we have 4 seconds to go. 3, 2, and 1. Real nice period for Baldessaro. So Santiago's going to take the bottom, coming in at 7-1 against the freshman Baldessaro. It's 10-6. Oh, elbow to the face. Not intentional, but nonetheless has the same result as it stuns Baldessaro. Gets his arm trapped. So that momentary lapse after the elbow as Baldessaro stunned, and just that quickly, Santiago gets the takedown on the fall, but a good effort by Baldessaro in that one. Wrestling the upperclassman, really showed some agility and ability and some motion on the bottom. That's going to make the final score 57 Haddon Township, 18 your fighting clan. And that's going to do it from us here at Irv Gosman Court. Almost want to say stadium. This is Rich Scarpa along with all the guys at VPS Channel 9, thanking you for watching Vineland High School Wrestling.